So, some of you have been wondering how I edit these D&D podcast videos. So, I'm going to show you. Now, granted, I'm not going to tell you everything step by step because these videos take anywhere from a full day to 3 days to make depending on their length. So, I'm not going to make you sit through all that. That would be cruel. So what I am going to do is I'm going to show you my process. So first, because the videos are already in the recommended audio file, I'm going to show you what I do with a Fortnite clip since all of the D&D videos have already been transferred to audio. So I'm going to come in here. I use Shotcut for audio because I really don't like how HitFilm handles its audio. So what I'll do is I'll take this clip into Shotcut here, and then there's nothing here I want to change yet. So I'm just going to go over to Export, go over to Audio, MP3, Export File. Let's say I want to stick it in YouTube and call it D&D 20, which is obviously not what it is. This is a Fortnite clip. With that done, it's going to export the audio. I don't need to save this because it's exported how I need it to be. So then, once I have it exported how I need it to be, I come in here, I open this handy program. So I'll take this into Audacity, let it load in, then see all this silence? I don't want that. So I'll Control A on this, go to Effects, go to Truncate Silence, and you can preview to make sure it's not going to cut anybody off. And then once the preview sounds clear and it's set to where you want it, you just click OK, and that'll automatically cut down the amount of silence in between something that happens. So then once I do that, see how this part right here is way too peaked? I will go into effects once again and go to normalize, and usually this is where I keep it because it keeps it more balanced so no one's higher or no one's lower than anybody else. So I'll click OK, and that'll automatically do that. Then I will file, export as MP3, D&D 20 SR for silence removed and volume leveled. Then click OK, and it turns it into
Last time on Dungeons & Dragons, as you
a nicely edited MP3 file. So now that we have the nicely edited MP3 file, we come over here to HitFilm, and this is where the bulk of the magic happens. So I'm going to create new. I usually edit in 1080p at full HD at 25 frames a second. It's just the easiest to edit. Now what we're going to do, we're going to come into import, then we go boop, boop, boop. I actually made all of these originally, and so that's how that goes. So there's that. And now, say we wanted a character. Here's Bartholomew, Clarion, Holly the skunk, Midnight, me, and Shadow has not been in the campaign, so he wouldn't be in there. So now, I'm going to show you how I got these characters. Now, none of this art is mine. I got it on Google. Just search whatever image you wanted. But let's say this picture I have of Don John with the forest behind him. Say we want just Don John. So I'm going to go in here and click on 3D Paint. I'm going to go to Magic Select, bring it down on him, and then see how it has it selected how I want it. So then you just click Next. Make sure everything you want is selected, click Done. Then you take it, you move him out of said way, and then you just turn up the thickness of the eraser and just completely annihilate the background. And then you move him back into frame. You go to Canvas, Transparent Canvas, then you save as image. You want it as pink because that gives it a transparent background. Click transparency and click save. And just save. So then that gives you your transparent character to do with what you will. And there's no background like there's none on this. And this is how it'll show up. So what I'm going to do is I took this handy dandy video. I'm going to plop that in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the intro, I'm going to drag it in. I want it clear at the front on video 3-ish. So then, once the intro is aligned, I can lock that in place so I can remove the empty audio without actually removing the video and replace it with my own intro. Now, what I do is I come in here, put the background in video 1, and I'm going to drag it all the way up to where I want said video to be. Then I take my face, drag it into video 2, and I want it more at the end of this so it comes through. Now see how this is too small and it's showing all that background? Well, you just do this. Ta-da, no more background. And then with my tiny picture, I just leave it where it is, scoot this up again, and add in this little handy dandy frame that I made. And I just made a transparent rectangle with the outsides. It's just a simple shaping, and then you color it how you want. I want it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and make these bigger. But I don't want it popping out of the frame. So then, with that in tow, I go ahead and I place in the D&D player overlay, which will go right there. And I want the music of my D&D intro song, or my intro song, to stop right before I say hi, so I'm gonna remove that at that. Hey guys, it's Mia here. And now you see the Luke Dungeon Master. The way I do this is you just go over to Install Templates, left align, edit, and it'll pop up a composite shot, and you can change the position. You can change the color. Down to fill color. Say I want it, I don't know, green. Click OK. And it's now green. There's two different colors, so you can do fill color. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. But then say you want to change it to text, you just click on said text and change it to whatever you want. So that's how I did that. So then what I'm going to do, now that everything's in place there, we're just going to continue. So what'll happen next? Let's get into this and find out. Now I'm going to scale up this so I can better see where I want to cut the area. So I'm going to cut it right here because there's nothing but a silence there and me turning off the camera. So we don't need that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my File Explorer, and then I'm going to go into screenshots because I have all of the different elements I'm going to need. And I got these all off Google. I searched like fantasy backgrounds, 1280 by 720p. That's all you need to do. Click the ones you want that fit the scene you're talking about and call it a day. Now that that's in place,
Last time on Dungeons and Dragons.
we can transition right into this and find out.
Last time on Dungeons and Dragons.
So this is Luke, our DM, talking, which you guys know Luke, you're on his channel right now. So I don't put a character for him because he plays everyone, so there's no point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a background. Say we're in Phandalin. So I would come to my screenshots, I would find Phandalin, pop that in there, drag it down here, and then I would extend it to however far I wanted it to be, like so. Like say we were in Phandalin for that long, that's how long it would be. Then I would come over here, grab the Phandalin, which is right in the center, and then we just extend it to where it's fully through our frame, but not all the way past it, because then it looks weird. So then, once we have it where we place it, just turn it back to scale to fit, And voila, you have Phandalin sitting in the frame. So say this is me talking, right? So I'm gonna take my character, Bartholomew, Midnight. Now say this is my character talking, since it is. I'm gonna plop it in where she's talking. I'm gonna flip it because my character's talking first. She's gonna be sitting this way, so she's looking this way. Oh, don't we need food for the manticore? So then see, I stopped talking, so then I would push it down there to make it seem like it pops up when she's talking. Oh, don't we need food for the manticore? And then when the next person talks, since it's Bartholomew, you put it right at the start of where he starts talking, and then since he's going to be facing the other direction, you turn him like this and make sure he's not all frumpy, and voila.
Well, yes.
And let's just say I repeated this entire process all the way down the line till the end of the story. I'm saving time. I'm not going to sit here and do it for you guys the whole way because we'd be here for 3 days. So I'm going to cut it here, which will automatically cut the audios. Cut it here. And I'm going to go remove. 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 Food for the manticore.
Well, yes.
And then remove. And that leaves me with just that line. Don't we need food for the manticore?
Well, yes.
And say somewhere down the line I wanted to add in my sub/like message, put that in, say right about there, because I usually put it halfway-ish through the video.
You camp and then back to town.
So then we do that, move it up to here, scale it down because it's a little too big, and then voila.
Logging camp. Hang out with you guys to logging camp and then back to town. Met you guys on his passing of travels. As you guys are
Now, say I want music. So I come over here to my copyright-free music that I got from the YouTube library. Since they're all licensed for YouTube already, you don't have to worry about it. Say I want something with a more village feel to it. I usually go to like Yondering Hills because that's got more of a villagey feel to it. And let's say I want it all the way through the D&D video. I'm gonna scale it down.
last time on Dungeons and Dragons, as you guys were making your way to the logging camp, you stopped a mugging of several goblins tried to mug Midnight's friend, Yogurt.
That would cut off there. And then you come over here and just cut off the end. And voila! And then I'll add in my D&D end card, which for the D&D ones, I don't usually say goodbye because there's enough talking going on, and it's kind of, I put the silence at the end of the end card to give you a moment to like absorb the story and think about it and just take your time in ending it and figuring it out. Bartholomew is over the end screen. We can't have that. I'm going to scale it up. Cut him down to size. And voila.
Yes.
And that's pretty much a rough idea of how I do that. When I want to export it, you go to Export, Add to Queue, Contents, and I don't want a compressed file because that's how you get like the see-through stuff and all that. I usually go YouTube 1080p, and then I usually call them like whatever the main focus of said episode was. I'll put that in the title, like Old Farmers and Old Frogs, like you see up here. That was the title of the other one because it was two of the main talked about topics. So let's say it was orcs and ogres, D&D podcast, whatever, and then save. So that's ready up, so I have it saved in the folder I want, I have it saved with the name I want, I have it saved in the format I want, so then just start exporting. It'll go through the entire video as it's exporting down here at the little window in the bottom, so I can see the progress as well as be able to see the number of the progression. And then once that's done, I just go ahead and I check and make sure the video came out how I want it to. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do to edit the videos. And then for the thumbnails, I will come over to my screenshots, come over to say we went to the logging camp. I'll go to Paint 3D. Then I will check the canvas and make sure it is the size I want, which is 1280 by 720, which is the recommended YouTube thumbnail size. And then I'm just gonna save that. Now I'm gonna come into a program called Emerge, and then I'm gonna go in 1920 by 1080. Then I'm just gonna bring in that, and I'm gonna scale it down to what I want it to be. Then I'm just gonna say blah so then I usually like my favorite font is the Burlux Big Condensed, and I usually go about 150 to 200, so it fits nicely in the thing. Then I just duplicate however I want to duplicate it. Blah and blah, and then I'll fix that how I want to fix it and then call it that. So that's how I edit the D&D podcast for those of you that wanted to know. I hope this was informative, a little more in-depth than the last behind the scenes I did, but there you go.